Hi. Today we're here for the second episode of the understanding of our homegrown Indian leader. These are measurements which have been done at our talent portal, pexitest.com. And this report is brought to you from the team here at Pexitix. We do hope you've had an opportunity to see the first episode of this particular report, where we had spoken about how the age gap is changing, and now for the younger generation we have equivalent number of leaders in manufacturing as well as services, which is great. The aspect that we are going to be exploring today is best told in this particular quote by Peter Drucker, that culture eats strategy for breakfast. So let's look at it. How does the leadership culture affect the leader and the organization? The biggest reason for leaders quitting early, which is less than 1 year, is often a culture mismatch. So culture becomes important at this point when you're hiring a leader or you're trying to grow leaders within your organization. And the personal attributes which affect the quality of personal interactions and professional decisions can be looked at in certain frameworks. The framework we follow at Pexitix is morality, transparency, balance. And all the three together tell us the aggression quotient, both the amount of aggression as well as the type of aggression which is displayed by a leader. What is also important is the vision approach of the leader. When we look at vision approach, we look at all the three: short term, medium term, and long term. These four aspects, perhaps the traits of morality, balance, transparency, and aggression quotient, and the fifth aspect of the scope of the vision, become extremely important to define the culture of the leader and match it to the culture of the organization, or at least of the particular role that you are considering the leader for. When we look at the time value, this is a time tested valuation of time vision approach towards tasks and vision capabilities of a leader. And as mentioned earlier, and I'm sure you know, it's divided into short term, medium term, and long term. For the leader, what is the definition of short, medium, and long? This becomes important to understand. And when we look at the data around manufacturing versus services, we find that yes, um, short term does start from something as small as 1 day, and long term does end at something like 10 years, and medium term is in between all these values. However, what is interesting is that in manufacturing, there's a significant percentage of leaders, 57% here by the numbers, who in their long term approach are looking at 5 to 10 years, while in services, this percentage drops drastically to about 41%. This perhaps is expected that services people look at in a shorter term, versus in manufacturing people have a longer term horizon. But what is also important to understand is that in manufacturing and services, there are some leaders who have put down long term also as 6 months to a year. Now, why is this significant? This is significant because we have found at Pexitix that the long term vision time frame is correlated to the time that the leader spends in the organization or that particular role. So it is dangerous perhaps to get a leader with a very small window for long term, especially if you want a leadership candidate to stay with you for a slightly longer period of time, right? Um, Also, while hiring, it is important to match this vision with that of the organization. So, if the organization has particular standards of short, medium, and long, and most of the leaders who are currently in the organization match those particular standards, if a newcomer comes and he or she has a different set of standards, you will find a conflict. Either the organization will not feel comfortable with the leader, or the leader will not feel comfortable with the organization, leading to a possible attrition. When you're looking at growing leadership talent, again, this becomes important because this tells you what is the maturity of decisions and of planning that the leader is ready to bring to the table. This should match what is commonly seen in the organization. So let's go to the next part where we are looking at morality, transparency, and balance. The great part is that 90% of the leaders in India will uphold morality while guiding and deciding. This is a important aspect and it seems pretty consistent across manufacturing and services. 85% of the leaders are transparent and open to people and ideas. Again, this bodes very well for the evolution and ever changing nature of business and the digitization phase which is on currently. And perhaps it's no surprise to see that the transparency percentage in services is higher than that in manufacturing. So 51% of the leaders in services are transparent and highly transparent. Balance shows the shift towards manufacturing, with 63% of the leaders in manufacturing showing highly balanced people who have the ability to listen and take decisions which are required to find the correct solutions for the problems in the organization. The services is at 51%, taking the total for both manufacturing and services to be about 58%. So let's look at what this bodes for aggression. So aggression quotient, are of multiple types, and there are no very good or very bad aspects of this. What really is important is, does it match the organization's leadership culture and the role that you're looking for? In services, here you will notice that you have a higher percentage of harmoniously aggressive leaders. These are people who believe in collaboration. In manufacturing, this number is at 44%. At services, it's at 57%. I think this is not surprising, and I'm sure you feel that too. But it's great to see that a majority of the leaders in services will believe in collaboration. Conversely, in manufacturing, you find 25% of the leaders are aggressive. That is, that they believe that there is only one way, their way, else there's the highway. Again, perhaps it's not surprising because manufacturing often means running large operational setups and being very precise in their processes. But this is something to be thought about. That where do you have an aggressive person as a leader? If it's in your manufacturing unit, perhaps it's fine, but you in sales, etc., it may not be a good fit. Manipulative aggressive, you find them lying at about 21%, and these are the people who would use office politics as a way to get their way. Passive aggressive is at about 9%, and these are the people who won't do something that they don't feel convinced about. And the worst is, they will not even come out and disagree on your face. So this could be something that you want to cap. You do not want to have a passive aggressive person as a leader. They may not be the best for either collaboration or surging forward as a team. Um, we hope you can use this information to actually execute and create leaders, as well as hire leaders who fit your culture, um, you know, very well. And again, to reiterate, the culture that we are talking about is what influences team interaction, behavior, communication style, beliefs, values, the working environment itself, decision making, ethical frameworks, etc. So, this is a great thing to keep in mind as you go about hiring and growing your leaders. That certain personal attributes like morality, transparency, balance, and aggression quotient, and the vision approach, which is the short term, medium term, and long term vision that is espoused by the leader, becomes important parameters to consider along with their skills and earlier experience. We do hope this helps you both in hiring as well as growing great leaders in your organization. In the next episode, we will look at the situational leadership model. Do look us up at pexitest.com, and we look forward to hearing from you at score@pexitix.com.